Richard Oyekunle.
Yeah, you got it right.
You got it right. Yeah,
You tried. Good.
Man, yeah. You know what? I've always made sure to ask. I think it's important, and I think it's always important to say the full name too.
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
I always someone asks me the new thing that I'm doing is, "What's your name?" I'm Brooke Tellahan. You're gonna have to know my full name. There's gonna be a little bit of butchering too.
Yeah.
But patience. But thanks, Richard. I appreciate you coming on. First of all, I'm undressed. You're looking good. I don't know. It's a sports jacket. I love the watch. I love everything that you got on here. I'm underdressed, but that's okay. You're making it up for both of us.
You are the man, I'm the guest, so it's okay. You feel at home, right? So
I appreciate it, and thank you for the hat.
You're welcome, man,
and for the nice wine that you bought.
Yeah,
Classy, man. I appreciate it, Richard. I just wanted to. I wanted to bring you on this show, just to learn a little bit more about you. I came across. We came across each other at the bus conference.
Yeah.
And you did such a great job of introducing the real estate business to the young agents that are coming on.
Yeah.
And I think it's such an essential, I should say, information, because I know when I started out in the mortgage business, and there's a lot to learn. I wish I had that type of information to share. But you talked about being intentional.
Yeah.
Intentional. Can you talk a little bit before we get to know who you are? But I wanted to bring that up in the beginning because it's so important.
Yeah. Okay. I think being intentional comes from you being very realistic, right? If you're going into a business and you know you're going to a business that is very competitive, right? You're not going to be the smartest. So for you to cut that long rope, you have to be intentional. Number one, you have to be intentional with your goal, right? What you want to achieve. You have to be intentional with what you put in, right? And you have to be intentional with the results you want to get. So for me, going into real estate, I know at that point I didn't have all I needed. You know, I wasn't equipped, right? I'm just that young immigrant that came to this country. So I was really intentional with my goal. I knew what I wanted, but I was intentional with what I need to put in, the target market, right? So starting off, I knew I had to start small. Build a community of people that can actually relate with me, using real estate as a tool to build financial wealth.
Right. And did you, because I know that when you first get into the business, the real estate partners that I've spoke to in the past, there's a niche that you kind of pick at. What was your niche? Was it first-time home buyers? Was it right to the investors, or was it maybe pre-construction? Because that's a big decision, and it's really important.
So I'll divide a bit. So my niche came from me understanding how this part of the country works, right? So when I came here and I had, like, when I got to know about the tax system, we don't do that back home, man. Like, you don't make such amount of money and you have to, pay this portion and all of that, which is great. I think that's what has developed this part of the world, right? So when I looked into it and I was trying to get a job and I got to know, okay, I have to pay this, I have to pay that. So I just told myself, what, business is the way, right? I have to figure out how to get into something that is active and passive, right?
And did you look at it from the banking system? And first of all, where's home first? Let's give a shout out to
I'm from Nigeria.
Nigeria,
man.
okay.
The largest black country.
But when you came to Canada, when you looked at how this works, this is very, very important. When you're looking at the banking system and how we're taxed and how things are made here, and things like that.
Exactly. So that's where the standpoint I looked at it from that perspective. So I knew that, for you to do more, for you to break out of the norm, then you need to create active and passive. And what's the best way for me that I think I could do that is real estate. So when I got my license and I had to, this is what I want to do for my personal life too. Even though I'm going to be a licensed realtor, I'm still going to use real estate as a tool to build wealth, which is passive, right? So my community, fellow immigrants that came to this country, it's very easy for them to jump into that box of, I'm only here to work, make a living, live a good life, and that's it. I don't think that should be the standard.
And
right?
You wanted to change that.
And I wanted to change that. Yeah. So I noticed that everyone I speak to, they share the same story as me. When I say that to them, it kind of resonated with them. Right. So that challenged me to create that, niche for the business and preach that and use real estate as that tool.
I love how you started with your community. Yeah. I love that. And you expand out from there.
Exactly.
So would you say then you started with education?
So no, good education comes from experience, man. Right. Like you have to be through it. So that's why you have to start small to learn. When I started, and I did mention in that boss conference, immediately I finished my course, I took on that best 1,200 I've ever spent, which is the mentorship program, because that's a shortcut I can take to cut that number of years. Right. So I took the mentorship program. He's one of the top realtors in Toronto. His name is Robert Fanny.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. So he's Iranian, like very, very, very sharp man. So he actually taught me so many things. No, it wasn't just me. We had maybe about 50 of us in that session, but I was really, really, really attentive, and I took in all those,
You took notes. You took notes.
Oh, I took notes. Yeah. I took notes. Well, it was very extensive. So he told me, what? He's an immigrant too. Yeah. When he came, he knew nobody. So he told me, you have to be very realistic. Yeah. Start small. If you have to do leases, and one thing about real estate is the amount of work you put into lease is the same thing as buying. So but it's less pressure. Yeah. You learn through it, right? You learn with that, and it will just come naturally when you break out and start doing big things.
Right. And to your point, what you're saying is some of the documents that you're using that you're, in that interaction.
Yes.
Leases prepped you up to the real deals,
Exactly. And with less pressure.
Less pressure.
Less pressure. Because if you're just starting out, if you have to deal with buyers and sellers, then you're scared of, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to make mistakes. And everyone is busy in real estate. Right. If you think anybody's going to hold your hands and say, do this, do that, unless you're under their team and they're getting some kind of benefits, right? So I had to learn with that. And in my broker, then I was doing volume of leases. They used to call me, lease king. I don't know where they were. If it was a compliment or they were just, kind of picking at me. But that actually taught me a lot, and it helped me to start, having a relationship with people. Caring for people, because when you do leases, trust me, you're going to care for people. You care that, you want them to get a place to live because you are getting paid less. So you're not working for those fat paychecks. Right? You're working to get paid, not a lot, but you're putting in effort. And people can see you. They see that, this guy...
He's trying to help.
He's trying to help. Yeah. A lot of agents don't want to take those kind of jobs, right? So when they see, you're building yourself. You're building that experience, right? Which has helped me today because now I'm more into the investment side of real estate. I've dealt with tenants. I've dealt with tenants, landlords. So I have that experience, right? Yeah. Because they later called me and say, this is what I'm going through with my landlord. We go through it together, and that actually gave me that part of experience I'm also using in other aspects of real estate.
You know what? That's so when it comes to work or just life in general, the task or whatever you're in, at one point at that present moment, you're like, why am I doing this? Oh my God.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, it appears like 10 years and 15 years. Now you can do your own leases. Yes. You know how to think as a renter.
Yes.
So that's how you started. Now, a lot of folks also get into pre-construction. And I think that's your bread and butter still to this day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Tell me a little bit more about that. And I know you have a bunch of listings now, and I want you to talk about them.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
So pre-construction came out of the same, the same grind of building generational wealth, try to create a community of people that you give them, you let them see the right mindset that you adopt to build something and not just be an immigrant that comes here, work, and go back to where they come from. So I built a strategy after the first year of how you can own multiple properties. Right. Because it's nice if you hold one property and pay it off all through your work time till you retire, But when you have multiple properties, that can actually get you to retire early, right? And get income from that. So I told myself, how do I help these people build a strategy that helps them to have multiple property? And that's where pre-construction comes into play.
Right.
Because it's very flexible in terms of deposit structure. You're not closing right now, right? You're getting it brand new. It's going to come with warranty. So that's
you have
what
an assignment. You can sell it.
you can sell on assignments, which we did a lot of that last year, like tons of that, and it just worked. It worked like magic,
Right?
Because it's 5-year strategy. That the 5th year you're going to have 3 properties, right? But you know what? Last year we had to sell some of them. Make some client, they made so much money, and they just put it on.
So
more
you
properties.
have a proven track record, validated plan.
Yes.
And at the end of it, you have a result. So,
yes.
So that's your position, your value proposition when you meet folks. And
yes.
Yeah, what I love about pre-construction as well is the fact that your purchase price at signing, it's at a set amount.
Exactly.
And if you can just talk about the benefits of that, because on closing, you're gonna now have property has now appreciated. You're walking into a property that you've already made money on.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer to me. Like without things being considered.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because a lot is happening in the market right now. But regardless, I think pre-construction. One of the good things about it is the time value for money.
Time value for money.
Exactly. So you and I were going to the market today to buy a property at today's market. Mm-hmm. But someone already bought pre-construction like 2-3 years ago, and they didn't close on it. They didn't get mortgage. They didn't move into it. All they have to do is put some fraction down to hold that price. So you see so you can imagine you starting off your first year at work, after getting out of college or university, and you're able to, come up with some money. While everyone is trying to work to save up, maybe you just get that money from line of credit, dad and mom's bank, and you put it on pre-construction. Now, when you or your folks are ready to buy after 3 years, they will be buying at today's market. You already locked into the market 3 years ago. Yeah. So that's the advantage. So with the strategy I built, owning 3 properties in 5 years, without pre-construction, infusing pre-construction into it, will probably be hard, because pre-construction is what helps us to beat the time and not to wait, right? So they buy the first property. We go back to the bank to apply for home equity line of credit. Line of credit can get, we put it on pre-construction, let it build. Then they close pre-construction the 3rd year. When they close, they refinance the first property. All the pre-construction would have increased in value. They hold it for 1 year, they refinance. Now they are not taking equity of 1 year, equity of 4 years, because you waited 3 years.
Right.
At the 5th year refinance, when then you buy another investment property.
What's a good amount of pre-construction homes do you want to start with your strategy?
So it depends. It depends on the clients, right? But to be honest, for me, I preach affordability, right? You can't go wrong, right? You can't go wrong. Right. With all things considered, location, reputable builders, deposit structure, when you look the functionality of the floor plans, right? But we always try to keep the price low as possible, because that way you tend to have more control.
Right. Now, a lot of times what I had client on the financing part, one of the things that buyers don't do is have their own individual representation, real estate representation.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can. There's already. You know where I'm going with this.
I definitely know. Yeah. Even with mortgages too, they want to go straight to the bank.
Right. I know. I know. And so I've at the end of the day, I've had to blow off fires because of it, like really bad situations where. How do you convince a client to say, the service to go and buy with a realtor is practically free.
Yes.
So how do you convince them and motivate them to make that decision?
I'll answer the question, but let me tell you a story. So I've had this happen to me like countless times, that I'll go to sales center, and even the sales rep will say, "Oh, what are you doing here? We don't cooperate with agents." I've done it tons of times. That I go with clients to say no cooperation. Yeah. And I don't even tell them. Because when you tell them, then you're already preparing their mind that, they're not going to pay you, but I just want to let you know. But it has happened twice that the builder sales rep I had to bring it up that, oh, what are you doing here? Do you know we don't cooperate? I said, no. Yeah, I said, yes, I already saw it on your website, but I'm just here
For my client.
For my client. And I can remember this one is in East Gwillimbury, and the agent said, you know what? This agent, please hold him. He should be your agent forever because we don't see real estate agents here. So then it comes to your value proposition, right? Why are you in this in the first place? So I mentioned about community. See, when you honestly care about people, right? What you're going to get back is checks. Yeah. That's the fact in this business, right? Yeah. So if you only care about it, so when people start saying that, I think that's the way to show people, for them to have confidence in this profession that we have, right? That they even do it for free sometimes. So why shouldn't I call them when they have to pay them? So if anyone wants to sign for pre-construction and they just want to go to the builder by themselves, why not take help when it's free? Yeah. It's free.
I know. And this is what I had a similar exact situation.
It's free.
It's free. You just free. Have, independent, sound advice.
Exactly.
That's not, there's a conflict of interest.
And don't get me wrong. You know what? People are smart. You may think, no, I'll be able to figure everything out. But you are a doctor. You are a social worker. You are a dentist. I'm a real estate guy. I see these every day. Yeah. I know floor plans. When I know functional floor plans. Yeah. I've been to houses. I know houses on the market that get stuck because the floor plan is not functional. Yeah. So when you want to sign up for a pre-construction, it's just to help yourself. Go with an agent, a good one, actually, that can at least explain things to you because they've seen it repeatedly. They've done it. They even know builders that are good, builders that are not good, and they'll be able to advise you, right? So if they don't have any, if they're scared, they should take recommendations.
Right. What are good advice here when that buyer signs off that pre-construction? What are some of the things that they need to make sure they're embedded in that contract?
Yes.
Some of the the do's and don'ts.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you can, because that's
essential. I'll start from the last view of things. Is number one, just make sure you buy from a reputable builder. So that's where your agent comes in. That's where research comes in. And bear it in mind, if you go read the review online, only people that are dissatisfied write reviews. So you have to be very careful of that.
That's right.
So that doesn't make a builder bad. If you go on, online and you see some kind of bad reviews,
you have to dig a little bit more.
Yeah, take more. Secondly, is the contract. You see that contract? Don't ever think you can review it yourself. They're so bulky, thin lines. You need to give it to a professionals, right? To professionals to review. A real estate lawyer will be able to dissect those contracts and tell you these are the things they've put here, that doesn't support your interest. These are the things I think they should change. And that's where the conversation starts, right? Because I see people just take those contracts, they brush, they sign and say, I bought a property. 2 years down the line, they call and please, I want to assign. And they get to know that, assignment provision is not in that contract. Even though it was marketed, when they were marketing that project, they put free assignment. But the thing is, they gave you a contract that doesn't have the assignment provision.
So sometimes there's bad business out there that they're marketing as a free assignment, but when it comes to the details, it's found later on because you haven't got independent legal advice.
And they're just going to tell you in single line,
God.
Did you ask for it?
Yeah.
Did you
ask for it?
Did you ask for it?
it?
Exactly. So when you get that contract, give it to a lawyer to review. Make sure that if they give assignments, it's included. Even if you're strongly convinced that you're going to live in that property, things do change. Right. Make sure it's there. It's free. Right. You don't even pay for it until you exercise that assignment provision. Number 2, developmental charge.
Yes.
That needs to be capped.
Yeah, I always get surprises.
Yeah, exactly. So you see the news that just came out about the new housing law they wanted to pass. It's probably going to boil down to builders not probably paying more development, like builder charging more developmental charge or reducing it or whatever it is. But you capping it means, I want you to cap my developmental charge. If you're going to cap it at $7,000 or $5,000, what it means is, if anything happens, pandemic happens, anything changes, I'm not paying more than this.
And these are like for sewers and the cost of putting the sewer and all that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. So you want to cap that.
Yeah.
You want to make sure they put the assignment provision. Those are the two major things, and all the things that the legal, the solicitor will spot in the contract that should be there. Even for the assignment, sometimes they put assignment clause, but they tell you cannot list on MLS, right?
Right.
Which kind of restricts, the visibility of the property if an agent is trying to sell. So those are the major things, and I think it's important for everyone to give it. Real estate lawyers won't charge much,
right?
But that can save them a lot of money down the road.
That was really good advice. The really good advice. Now, there's always that talk of the housing shortage.
Yes.
Let's get a little political a little bit. Is it inventory? Some people say it's foreign buyers.
Yeah.
Is it cost of borrowing?
Yeah.
This is the debate, and I just wanted to get your take on it. And what you think of that. I mean, it's a combination of all or everything.
Yeah, it's a combination of everything actually. But there's that big elephant in the room, right? Which is the interest rate.
Yeah.
So prior to this time of what the market is right now, it's been supply and demand.
Right.
And interest rate being at all-time low. But since March 7th, I think that was when they first increased the interest rate this year, it's been the interest rate. Mm-hmm. So what they're trying to do is there's a lot of disposable income. People had a lot of money in the account. They're throwing on pre-construction, buying investment property, doing bidding wars, outbidding themselves when it comes to property and all of that. So for them to control it, they want to kind of mop out money from people, reduce the way they spend. So what is slowing down the market right now? The big elephant in the room is the interest rate, because everything boils into affordability. So we deal with buyers. The first thing they ask you is, okay, if I buy at this price, how much am I paying every month?
Right.
Because every other thing, because of the inflation, everything has gone up. Grocery, I do grocery for my family. I know how much I used to do. I know how much I pay now. Right.
I paid $200 for one bag.
Yeah, it's
I measure it in bags.
Yes,
like $200 was like at least 4 or 5 bags.
It has
back
gone
in the
up.
day.
Even bills, everything. So these people, they're coughing out more.
Yeah.
Even on all the things, right? Even on all the things, their bills, their groceries, everything has gone up. Then to talk of the real estate aspect of things, paying high mortgages too. So the interest rate inflation has affected everything. And I can tell you, buyers, they've not disappeared. We still have even more buyers because they're kind of compressed right now because they've not been buying for the past 6, 7, 8 months, right? We had a lot of buyers even from last year. They were scared of these multiple offer things, sitting on the fence. Immediately the market started going down, like, you know what, I told you it was going to go down. Yeah. I wouldn't buy. With the ones that stood off the market because they just want to see how things play out. So we have compressed demand. But the thing is, they're just waiting. They are signing those leases to stay additional 1 year, right?
Right.
In the rented apartment, right? They're just waiting because some of them are waiting for the market to get to the rock bottom, right? So which nobody knows when it's gonna go there. It's gonna get there, and when things will start going up again.
That's always the question, eh?
Exactly.
The crystal ball.
Exactly. So nobody knows. So that's what is slowing down the market is the interest rate. And I think I know BOC, Bank of Canada, they're trying to do everything possible not to lose the grip of the control, they've kind of put in place. And I tell investors too, what is happening right now is for the benefit of everyone. It's better for it to be controlled than the market just...
Amen to that, man.
Do you get what I mean? To be honest,
it was stupid at one point.
That control helps all of us, helps all investors, right? Because it just kind of protects your assets. That, you know what, you're not just going to lose this investment. Yes, if you don't sell, you don't lose. Right. You just got to hold it until it's better.
And would you say that, let's say that there's a first-time home buyer, they get it pre-approved for, like, say, $300,000, still having a hard time to get in. There's, Canada's a big country.
Yes.
If they were to decide to buy in another province, what would your recommendation be?
In terms of location or type of property?
Location or affordability.
So
More buck for your.
right now, I think Canada as a whole is it's a growing country. The population is so little, the land space is crazy.
Right.
So everywhere it's going to grow. As much as I pitch for Toronto, GTA, Ontario, the truth about it is what should be primary on everybody's mind right now should be affordability.
Yeah.
Right. So anywhere 300,000 can get you into the market, grab it. I have clients that bought in Brunswick. All I did was just to refer them. That's not my strong market. I don't know. But I just refer them to a trusted agent, and they bought the property for about $410. 3-bedroom on the main floor, basement finished, separate entrance. I think it has 1 bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, and good mortgage. They got it. This was even like 4 months ago, and I think the rent for the upper level and the lower level comes to about $3,800, and they're cash flow easy. That's something that is really hard over here, right? So whether you like it or not, 3 things actually make you win in real estate investing: the first equity, the appreciation, right, and the cash flow. So if you're getting cash flow and you're getting first equity, even if the property doesn't appreciate a lot in 10 years, you're still winning because you get your deposit, your down payment back,
Right.
the first equity, which is what is your principal pay down, right, and the cash flow you've been getting. So maybe we should not all just focus on the appreciation, right, alone. We should just consider other aspects.
Yeah,
of it.
there's 2 other wins there.
Exactly.
Your principal pay
yes.
down.
Yeah.
Cash
flow. Yeah.
And then forced appreciation. Like maybe you might be renovating it as well. Along those 2 years,
Yes.
So right now, tell me a little bit more about your brokerage.
Okay.
And some of the numbers you're putting out there. I think you got some accolades.
Yeah. I think it came from the boss conference.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah.
Good for you, man.
Thank you, man. It's been great. I won't lie. Thanks to God, thanks to my clients, people in my community. I end the business, but it takes each trust,
Right.
to kind of trust, when you're buying a property, you're investing and say, you know what, I want you to represent me. So I'm really, really, really grateful for that. Not only me, my wife, she's grateful too. So it's been good. My brokerage, I'm with Century 21 Bestsellers. I joined Century 21 2019, and it's been great. Last year was massive. This year has been massive.
Yeah.
Are
you a partner there? Or?
Yes, with Tom Morosovich, yes.
Wow, that's a big.
Yeah, so
ownership.
Sort of, then other things in works, right? Right.
But that's just it, and that's just it. It's that's probably yourself doing your performance, obviously, but you're also your entrepreneurship, motivation too. So I think ownership is very important.
Yeah, it is.
Equity too. Right?
Yeah, it's important. It's important.
Shout out the equity right there.
Yeah.
So do you have a team under you right now, or are you looking to grow as a team? Because what I'm finding is a lot of real estate agents are now growing a team around them. Is that something you're interested in doing? Or?
Yeah, I'm interested in it. So after like 2 or 3 years, crazy years back to back, I just had to, be true to myself. So my team came out. So there are two ways people create teams. Some people create teams just because to kind of monetize things. Mine came out of being so super busy, and I need people around me. I need good people around me to be able to help this, incredible clients that we serve.
Right.
There's this person in my team. Her name is Jenny. She's amazing. Yeah. She's good. Another lady in my team, Deronke, she kind of do it like part-time. She's amazing too. So that's my team for now.
So administrative support, because you want to make sure the customer service quality is excelling.
For me, it's not about number when it comes to team. It's not about, do your thing, I do my thing. I just want to keep it like a boutique kind of. Increase the level of service.
And run it lean as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And client satisfaction. So it's more of that for me. And that's the approach. If I'm coming years, like next year, I'm trying to bring more people, but it will be a kind of employed people, specialist in things. If it's going to be marketing, someone that's studying marketing.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because a big part of our business, both of our businesses, is marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's
In
its
this
own, its
day and
own
age,
animal
yeah.
in
Yes.
itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to give all your secrets, but what's your strategy behind that?
So, well, my marketing has changed from when I started and now. When I started, definitely I didn't have the marketing dollars to throw around, right? Which is why I advise people that are just getting in, right? Make sure you're adopting the right strategy when it comes to marketing. And these are the things that don't get people discouraged. Because if you don't do it that way, if you don't get the right strategy, you'll be discouraged. You think everything doesn't work, right? You think everything doesn't work. So now, when I started, my marketing has just been on the low, word of mouth. When I get one client, I service them well. And that's the best form of marketing. That's free. That's free. People will preach the word. Everyone is selfish.
Word of mouth, dude.
I
Word
want
of
you to
mouth,
care about me.
Yeah.
If I experience something good from you, I'm gonna preach it, right? Yeah. So I tell them that's the best form of marketing, and it's free. Yeah. But as you grow with that, with your level of service, then look into your community, right? That could be free too, because when you go to them and they see that, okay, this guy really cares, and people have been saying good things about you, then they tend to kind of veer towards you and give you business, right? And as that grows, obviously that will bring in checks, right? Then you can adopt the other part of marketing. Then you decide: do you want to be a lead magnet? Do you just want to be that top shot agent? People see you, the face.
Yeah.
Then you show your expertise that this is what I do. I'm good at this. You share the tips. You share the advice. They see you more as someone who can educate them rather than be an agent. Then you become a lead magnet. Right. Then people reach out to you just out of the blue and say, you know what? I heard this from you. I heard this about you. I heard you say this. Can you get me this? Right. That way you need to get on social media. It's huge.
Essential.
So that will help you to kind of create that niche. Okay, how do I want to look? How do I want people to see me?
Yes.
Right. Do I just want to be that buy and sell agent or an advisor that they just come and say, I have this. What can I do? Those are the best form of clients you can get, man. Mm-hmm. But it comes from how they see you. Right? It comes from that. So for me, more like what I'm trying to build, obviously I show buy and sell. I do that because, number one, I'm selling houses for clients. I need to give it as much visibility as possible.
Right.
That's why I show for sale. And when it's sold, it's just kind of to show the performance people can see. When a business that you don't even know who is doing shit, excuse my language, right? You don't even know. Yeah. So sometimes I just try to show that to more, because you don't know. Like if people say that, oh, you sold them Brampton multiple times, like I feel like, you know what? He knows Brampton.
Yeah. And then you're stuck there.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he knows Brampton. Maybe I should reach out to him for Brampton. Yeah. If they said, okay, he covers Pickering too. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So that's why I show
you're versatile. Like
yeah.
You're not in one area, right? Which is great.
If you see, like I've made posts in the past that I did transaction maybe in a month, about 15 transactions, and I just posted in one picture. But if you notice what I post is, you see Ajax, Pickering, London, Bury, Toronto, Mississauga.
That's why I was asking you what kind of team you have.
Exactly.
Like you're hustling.
Yeah. So it's just for them to see that, you know what?
Yeah.
It covers everywhere. Yeah. Right? For me, it's more about the affordability and the deals.
Right.
Rather than, you just want to buy, we buy Mississauga alone. It's about the deals, because I'm trying to build a community of people that have the same mindset I have when it comes to real estate investing. And we're able to get those deals to be able to make much out of it.
I love how you go back to the blueprint. Something I picked up on is like, you talk about affordability, or you go back to the blueprint of serving your community.
Yes.
And it's a touch point. Everything is a touch point.
Yeah.
And that in itself will bear fruit in your branding. Yes. Organically.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that's happened to you?
Yes. So it's been intentional.
Exactly. That's what we started with, didn't we?
Yeah, it's been intentional with, with everything.
Then what are we doing?
Everything. It just kind of dictates even the type of clients, the mindset. So I'll tell you, a lot of people I deal with, even first-time home buyers now, they kind of have the right mindset. They are investors right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And that mindset is what you need for you to be able to own multiple properties down the line, for you to know that even after getting my mortgage, I can put extra money in just to be able to pay off on time.
Right.
So that's what I preach. That's what my branding is towards. You know what? What I tell people, I would love to sell $5 million houses, but that is not my market.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's not my market. But can I do $5 million volume? Yes. I just need probably more volume.
Right.
Right? Which I can get if people see that, okay, what this guy is preaching is for their own good.
Right.
Not just for me, right?
Yeah.
Not just for me.
Yeah.
So, and when you bring that value proposition, it builds trust.
Yes.
Right? It builds trust. It builds proven track record where people can trace and say, you know what, it did this for this person, it did it for this person. And that's what I've been doing, actually.
Uh-huh. And so the guys that are just coming into this business, the real estate, and I know we talked about in the beginning, there's a lot of discouragement right now. It's slow.
Yeah.
It's slow.
It's slow.
One of the things I kind of noticed is a pattern is everyone's kind of getting into teams. But what about that individual real estate professional that's still doing it themselves? How do they stay sane and, not in fear of failure? And how do they keep continuing,
So team is good, one thing, but you can start off being a solo agent too, no team. But starting off can be hard, but everything boils into what is your why? What's your reason for starting? That is what is going to kind of fuel you, at the beginning, right? So you need to get into real estate for the right reasons. The shiny objects. You mentioned about my sport jacket. It's it's good, but it's not all about it. It doesn't come, you might not be able to get it the first month, right? So if you get in for the right reasons, it will help you at the long run. So they need to kind of manage expectation. Trust me, it's a big problem starting off. It's a big, big, big problem. I've had clients even them showing houses and saying, no, Richard, I want to get into real estate because I want to be like you. So I asked them, I'm not even there yet, but do you want to be like me in the first year or you want to be like me after a few years? If you want to be like me in first year,
even a few years, my goodness.
Then maybe I should come learn from you.
Yeah.
So if you manage your expectation, trust me, anybody can actually succeed in real estate. They need to manage the expectation. They need to understand that we are all human. We are all selfish. We want someone who will protect our interest.
Yeah.
Adopting the right mindset actually is, what can I do to help? Right? You need to be able to, genuinely help people.
Right.
If you adopt that, it's going to help.
Make it as intentional as
possible. You know what can I do to help? I just want to help.
Yeah.
It will come back with checks. Don't get me wrong. It will come back with checks. But if you go after the check, it will come a few times.
How important is mentorship, though? Finding the right mentor, right broker, Because, you're coming in deer in headlights and...
Mentorship is great. Yeah, it's great.
Because I think you mentioned a gentleman, I don't know.
Rob Franny,
So how do you pick one but the thing is, on the flip side, one is how do you pick one? But on the flip side, how do you find the mentor that's willing to be one?
Yeah, true.
Someone's been eating good for a while. Yes. It doesn't need, because you're now absorbing, creating more competition.
Exactly. So if you want to do that, I would say for me, I was okay with Bob because it's not from where I'm from, right?
I see.
It has a different market, so you won't see me. And we're not even going to operate in the same region. He works in Markham, Richmond Hill, that area, and York region. And why I chose him is because he's not even just a broker. He teaches real estate courses, right? So if you want to pass your real estate courses on time, teaches people, he has a course. So the knowledge is there.
Right.
He's not just a teacher, he's doing it too, right? He's very successful in the business. So I chose him from that and I learned a lot from him. I had a session, I came out, you know what he told us? He said, real estate, people get into real estate for money too, right? It's important. We all work for money,
course.
Right?
Yeah. To get ahead, Yeah.
Care about people. Do the work. 100%. But at the end of it, know that you will be rewarded.
Yeah.
So what he told me that time he said I should go home, go think about it, sat my wife down and asked, like, what are the things we would love to have? Like, in terms of, he said, don't say, oh, I want to be, just things that you would love to have, and say, you know what, yes, if I'm not successful, there's no way for me to achieve this.
Okay.
So I went home, I wrote, and said, so I wrote them down, I gave it to him. I said, okay, now you have to take it to the next step. You wrote this car, then you go to Mercedes Benz, price this car, have a test drive, which I did.
You're manifesting.
Yes. So
okay.
I did the test drive. I took photos. He said he wants to see the photo. I did. I went to Oakville with my little son and my wife for an open house. Went into this goddamn gorgeous property. We took photos, and I still have the photos today.
And how many years back was this? Like 7 years? 8 years?
Yeah, no, this was 19.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So when you start with this,
with this brokerage, this was 19, and I did that. Then also I told him I would like to travel, go on vacation, and I'll tell you the story about vacation. I haven't gone to date because I've been busy. So so I
good problem to have.
Yeah, I took photos of
brother.
Santorini, Paris, and all of that, and I put my family picture in front of it. Even the watch too. There's this particular one, very expensive. I haven't had it to today for money reasons. I don't think it's the next thing for me to do. But those kind of, then I pasted on my walls, and every day. But I don't chase that. What I chase, as much people that I help, it get me closer to this.
Yeah.
So when I go out, so I still call those lists. Do you still want to rent? Do you want to do this? And after the rent, I service them. I say, please, if you have anyone that wants to buy, even rent, and that actually really motivates me today. So mentorship is key.
But
it's
also
very, very
the
important.
mentee, like, you have to be able to be coachable.
Coachable, yes.
Oh my God.
Which is a problem now.
Oh my goodness. Imagine that. Don't you love those people that's asking you for, help and everything else?
Yes.
Do you want to be talked a certain way or
exactly?
I was one of those people. I was, and I learned pretty quickly. You're not going to get better.
Exactly. Exactly.
But one thing you touched on is the quicker the fastest way to learning and becoming your future self is by experience.
Experience, yes.
But how is it hard for newer real estate agents to have that experience, those touches, unless somebody is willing to help them? Not a handout, but just someone is a support. How important is that? Like, because again, it's a tough business.
Yeah, it's a tough business. It's a fast-paced environment to be in, right? Everybody's busy with their own.
Of course.
Someone is talking to you now and their phone is ringing like 4 or 5 times, and you say, "Oh, excuse me, I had to go." So, but if you're just starting off and you want to really help, and you forget, like, just put the monetary part aside, it will come. And I understand that it can be really tough when you just get in. You have bills to pay too.
Yes.
And that's why I advise people, when you want to get into real estate, is either you have some good money saved up or still keep the job and make real estate part-time. Right?
That is the best advice right
Yes.
now. That is the
Save
best
up
advice.
Enough that will last you for a long time, and be ready to block out those unnecessary expenses and focus on real estate, or keep that job that you have that will allow you to have real estate on the side. And your time in real estate is not just I want to buy and sell, is I want to help, right?
I want to help,
So target those agents that you want to emulate. You think they're doing really well, then go. You see people who want to help you, say, how can I help you? We all need help,
100%.
right? My broker of record needs help. I need help. Everyone, like, if you're busy in the business, you need help. But if you see someone,
you got to ask.
Yes. If someone comes and say, how can I help you?
Yeah.
You have open houses. You cannot be in 3 properties at the same time doing open house.
That's right.
You can volunteer to do open house for agents. You can volunteer to go with them for listing presentation. Whatever they want you to do, they're planning out webinar. You're gaining ton of experiences from there.
Right.
If you're planning their webinar with them, you're just building yourself to be able to host one down the road.
Yeah.
If you're going to their open houses and say, you know what, I just want to shadow you. Maybe the next time I can do it all alone for you. I help you put your for sale signs.
And you're saying these things because you've done them.
Oh, I've done
right?
it. Yeah. Tom, I'm just going to give him a shout out. When I joined the brokerage, he made me, I did like few properties for him like that.
Yeah.
You know what? He actually, when I told him, you know what, I want to help you with open house, I said, you know what, I'll put your name on the listing, at the bottom of the listing, so people can reach out to you.
So he literally showed your face.
Yes.
Shout out to Tom.
Yeah, Tom Morosovich. He's really a great guy.
Like that,
and he even paid me $1,000 for doing open house after we sold the property.
Wow.
And he called me a check.
He's a keeper, man.
Yeah, he called me a check. Yeah. I think 2 or 3 times for his listings.
Right.
So that helped me. So when I did my own open house, it was just easy because I've done it.
Pay it forward too. I mean, some young cat like that wants to be like you were mentioning.
Exactly.
But they gotta be coachable, man.
Yeah, they have to be coachable. And speaking of that, one guy reached out to me, very sharp dude from he's from India, but he's here in Canada too. Yeah. And I think he's in U of T. He's into financial marketing, some type of badass course. And he said, "Oh, I've watched you. I've seen a few things from you. I want to do intern." And when I had the Zoom session with him like a few days ago, I said, "Okay, so what's your school requirement?" He said, "No, my school did not require me to do intern. I just want to do it and learn." He's 19 years old.
19 years old.
Yeah. So
instead of just doing the usual, go to school, go to your...
He said he's going to have some dead time.
Yeah.
A lot of time in his hands, and he just feel like, you know what? Yeah. He wants to do intern just by himself, not school requirements now, right? How will I say no to that?
No, you can't.
How will I say no to that?
Honestly, you can't.
You can't
because,
so,
when you recognize grind like that,
exactly. And he's not licensed. So now imagine if someone who is licensed approach you that way and they're licensed to show houses. How would you say no?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. How would you say no? Then it will be easy. Once you see the performance, you'll be the one to say, you know what, can you join my team?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what's the next 5 years look like for you? I know you got a lot to juggle. You're a family man too. How many kids do you have?
I have 2 boys.
Oh, there we go.
I have 2 boys. Yeah.
There we go.
Next 5 years, it's a big space, man.
Yeah, I know.
A lot can happen in 5 years.
Yeah.
But to keep it short, I'll say I just want to be, a better version of myself.
Beautiful.
Not only as a broker, not only as whatever I am now, but even as a husband, father, as a person.
That's amazing.
My career, everything, my spiritual life, I just want to continue to be better.
Too.
Because if I keep getting better, it's going to reflect in everything.
Yeah.
It's going
to bear fruit. Well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time. I think there was a lot of valuable information that you've shared with us. We're just going to wrap up, but now, how do people get in touch with you?
It's a social word.
Yeah.
So to get in touch with me, it's people get in touch with me. The phone ringing. So to get in touch with me, I'm across all platforms, all the popular platforms. Instagram, my name on Instagram is Sold by Richard. Sold with BUY by Richard.
Okay.
Facebook, same thing. Yeah. Phone number 647-887-5818. So those LinkedIn, Sold by Richard, or Richard Oyekunle. Richard first name, Oyekunle last name, Oyekunle. So I'm very, very, very reachable.
Thanks a lot, my man. Before we go,
is
this your bread?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, being intentional. The whole idea of generational wealth is you can get it through equity, right?
Right.
You build equity. And one thing I actually want to talk about, because people say, we talk about generational wealth.
Yeah.
So the uniqueness of real estate and why real estate is so good is you don't only build generational wealth if you do it properly.
Right.
It comes from financial freedom.
Right.
I don't just want to build generational wealth and transfer it. I want to be able to enjoy it too. That is financial freedom. Then you build generational wealth off that.
Right.
I don't know if you get what I mean.
I gotta get it. Yeah. I gotta get it.
So I'm not, I don't subscribe to just keep building. And you don't have that financial freedom. You are not enjoying it. And all you do is you retire, you just pass it on.
Right. Right.
I
You
don't
want to enjoy it the
Yes.
whole way through.
Exactly.
Right.
You want to enjoy, you want to build that financial freedom. That's why I did mention about now we're teaching people when you take on that mortgage, when you're cash flowing, your cash flow will not buy you another property.
Mm-hmm.
Why not put it back into that mortgage to pay it quicker in 15 years? Because in 15 years, when you have multiple property, you can easily say, hands off.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm quitting. I'm not
And
even
who knows
buying
what
it.
interest rates will be on that end.
Exactly. And
right?
I'm not even buying and selling for anyone
That's
again. I
right.
want to take the bad seat. Or I want to build a team and just, if it works, it works. Because I have
Fixated on the
30,000.
cash flow thing.
Yes, I
Let's
have
not get
30,000
fixated.
cash flow that's coming from my properties I already paid down.
Yeah. Buy and wait, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, my guy.
You're welcome,
Thanks
man.
for
Thank
coming.
you.
I
Thank you
appreciate
so much. So nice being here. Thanks for having me. I really
we'll have you
appreciate
back,
this,
eh?
man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Give me a call, man.
Cheers. Jay?
How was it?